Are you struggling in your prayer life? Are you satisfied with what happens when you pray? Give me 60 seconds, and today we're going to unpack that the biggest mistake we make in prayer is often before we begin. This is Father Mark, and today we continue a series called Back to Basics, doing the basic things that help make this year the best year of our spiritual life. And all of this week, we're going to talk about prayer and how if we made one quality holy hour a week, that would dramatically impact our relationship with God. The most important thing that we can do with prayer is actually before we pray, learning from the wisdom of St. Ignatius of Loyola, who in the Spiritual Exercises wrote, "A step or two before the place where I am to meditate and contemplate, I will stand for the space of an Our Father, and with my consciousness raised on high, consider how it is that my God and Lord beholds me. Then I will make an act of reverence or humility." End quote. Before Ignatius prayed, before he began, he would stop for the space of an Our Father, that's 60 seconds, and remind himself who is with him when he prays and what's in God's heart for him that day. In other words, if you and I are having a bad day, sometimes we just assume God's having a bad day. If you and I are struggling, we just assume that God is struggling. If we're distracted, we just assume that God is distracted. And Ignatius said before he actually begins the conversation, he wants to be reminded of who God is, that God is always present to us regardless of how present we are to God. By pausing before prayer, we are reminded of who God is, and so instead of projecting on the God who we think he is, we're more disposed to receive God's presence, his love, which is always in abundance for us. Do me a favor, why don't you share this message with anybody that you know who is looking to take the next step in their relationship with God, and come on back tomorrow as we'll talk about how God is always pursuing us. Until we see you then, God bless.